My name is Couch Coop and I'm going to be looking at Astro Duel 2. Don't know anything about the first one. Got a legacy subscriber who we're trying to play Remnant from the Ashes 2. I'm on Game Pass, they're on Steam. We were going to use the Epic Store as a sort of bridge, but I found this for free and it's running for a while. I would suggest you just log in and grab it because it's a really good retro PvP and PvE game. Pretty sure it was one of my first self-funded purchases for my ZX Spectrum. Blasteroids was a sort of Asteroids arcade port clone, but it featuring that 360 degree firing arc, and the cabinet came with that ball sphere. That's with the original Asteroids. Can we get on, please? Upon looking at this game, I assumed that the only local co-op mode was going to be the PvP section. It's kind of pushed you as your first port of call in the menus, and I love this little time attack starting section. So we're looking at a locked arena, which is pretty cool, a little bit like Towerfall Ascension, and you also get the replays, and you have a boost that can inflict damage. Now there's a very cool little mechanic which revolves around your ship getting destroyed and you being like a little vulnerable astronaut, and you have to sort of scrabble around until your ship's respawned. So you've got this two-stage death sequence. You really have to follow up on a kill. It's quite a satisfying little mechanic. It does come with a 4-player option, and you can access the keyboard as a controller, which is definitely a bonus. There's also a 6-player edition, which I saw on those menus. So this is a perfect little party game, particularly on the PvP front. There is ship choice and pilot loadout. The nuances and changes are not massively clear to me other than the sort of visual silhouettes, but I'm pretty sure there are some slight differences in what you select to go out with. We've also got some really cool and mean power-ups knocking around, including a spread shot, shotgun blast, even homing missiles. So this has also got that Spider-Heck feel. I'm very impressed with how in-depth this PvP is, considering you're in a locked arena, you're looking at 16-bit graphics, and it's an Asteroids clone. There is also the classic bout system, so you can see where everybody's up to, and more importantly, you can add bots very easily and set their difficulty. This is super important. I think if there's just 2 of you and you want to populate this arena, make things very interesting by having some difficult bots in there. You've got a lot of longevity with mucking around with those variables. Chasing down the other player is very cool when they go into their pilot status, and looking at the map you can see that these grey blocks are destructible, and there is an item right there in the center of the map. So there are sort of small objectives to get to in order to make yourself more powerful for the next bout. Notice there is also the King Crown system, giving the player who last won that sort of go for me status. There is that 6-player option you can see down there on the Y button. So I'm extremely happy with this. It's a free game that's rolled out on the Epic Store. I'm just annoyed that that window for it being available for nothing is closing. That's why I wanted to put this out in case you guys are on that store and didn't even notice that this could be downloaded within seconds, and the enjoyment is high. It's a really good one for the weekend.
Ready. Astro Duel.
The more sort of bouts you do, the more differences in map type are available to you. And one of the cooler things is that it handles interior and exterior sort of space mechanics. Once you go into this room, you lose your ship and gravity takes over, so it goes full alien mutant assault. Channel veterans will know of that game. Jumping and running and using a melee attack and picking up like shotguns and things. It changes up that base meta loads. It was really surprising. I loved playing around with it. You can drag the enemy bots in and just start seeing how they handle the gravity sections. It does feel a little bit like Duck Game with that nice snappy jump and picking up really cool drops and waiting for someone to be tempted into one of your death rooms. So the campaign, if you like, or the non-PvP section is also very healthy, introducing you to a few new enemy types and making sure you understand all of the items, because this is quite crucial. You're going to be fighting a setup of waves, and you've also got to get familiar with that gravity, non-gravity section switch out. So I'm normally not too over the moon with modes like this on games that offer local co-op. They normally just take away the second player, and it's just the PvP that's offered on that split screen or local co-op level. With this, you can just join with 2, 3 and 4 players. The wave system's very cool, and they change up the enemy type, so you're not just looking at the standard stuff, and you get to explore some very cool maps. Having 2 people in on this non-PvP campaign content was a real bonus, and I loved the idea of going to this after being familiar with all of the controls and the game's mechanics. It's a very cool wave system, and as mentioned before, I do put it up there with Spiderheck. I've compiled a list of 26 PvP games that are all local co-op. I will link it in the description. I recommend having a good look at that. Mushroom Wars 2. The game also comes with a pretty fun revive mechanic, which requires you to stay within the radius of a circle around the point of death. This creates a little bit of urgency. You've almost got to protect that spot. I love that idea. There's a game called Invisigun, which is on the channel, which very much reminds me of the sort of amount of quick fun and retro look you can get from a decent PvP and PvE system. I will of course link that in the description below. I have been Couch Coop. Please have a look at my 2.5 hour long top 25 all-time local PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 split screen games ever. It's a definitive last word on the entire genre. I will see you down there.